So today's topic, where I have observed that most of the students, not only from the CPA students, CMA students, CFA students, also the chartered accountants, they also struggle. Today's topic, what exactly I'm going to cover, that having a lot of formulas are there, and when I was a student at time, I also struggled. But then we found out some, logic that okay, fine, each and every formula we don't want to memorize, but without doing memorization, how we can evolve the formula. So once you understand the logic, how the formulas are evolved, you will understand the not only the computational part, but also the logical application. That's what Excel is required, right? Because whatever things you learn, if you don't understand the practical application, there's no absolutely no point of learning. And the formulas basically, there are many formulas are there, let me tell you, right? But we can easily logically understand all these formulas, and there is no need to memorize any formula, right? So one by one formulas we'll discuss. We will also understand the pattern, that this particular group of formulas, what exactly the logic behind that, why we are multiply certain factors, why we are subtracting. So all these logic, you know I would try to build, and I will learn from one of the professors, basically. That is, now he was a director of finance of Hindustan Unilever, and he used to teach, actually, that okay, fine, this is something, a topic I understood. No doubt, I also did a lot of research here, and you will get an advantage, that rather than memorizing so many formulas, because people are sometimes they ask the question. So my suggestion to you is that this topic, when I'm teaching, please don't read textbook. Don't need to read textbook, because if you read a textbook, there are a lot of formulas are there, not logically explained, and you may get confused, right? So my suggestion to you, that for this topic, don't read any textbook. Okay. Second thing, uh, so again, when you solve the question, use the methodology which is correct. See the answer, cross check the answer. Once you get the answer, definitely you say that this is okay. If you get a simulation type of question or essay type of question, explain the logic, right? Because the case study type of questions they ask, that time you have to understand the application side. So when you understand the application side, you have to write that this is meant for what, actually, what is the purpose of this formula. And we are going to discuss about the performance management, that is called variance analysis. So in a traditional world, they say standard costing, whereas the if you see the CMA US syllabus, it is a 20% weight, very important. CPA, definitely they are asking the question, because they know very well that people tend to memorize the formula. So MCQ type of question, again a simulation type of question also they ask. They give the example, like, say for example, this is a net profit you computed as per the US GAAP, and the as per the budget, what is the net profit. And there is a difference, right? The profit differs, that okay, fine, the actual performance is different, and your as per the budget, profit differs. So why there is a difference, right? Now people always try to blame each other whenever profit dips, that that particular department is responsible, and that department, and so on and so forth. So to resolve this conflict, management accountant plays an important role. So management accountant role is to make sure that fix up the responsibility, that okay, fine, the profit dips by, say, $100,000. So $100,000, who is responsible? Say for example, purchase department is responsible for $15,000, production department is responsible for $20,000. Sometimes some department has done well, sales department is they are doing well. So we can reward. rather than punishing everyone that the profit is down, so let's not see. I'll tell you, there's a tendency which I don't like actually. The problem is that 90% of organizations, they don't use this technique. So problem is that they will, whenever profit down, they cut down the increment percentage for everyone. So basically that's not a right approach, because you are demotivating someone who has done well. So we are just fixing the responsibility that someone is responsible for they are contributing, they're adding value to organization. There are some people are there, they are not done well, you punish them. But rather than, don't punish everyone, right? Or don't reward everyone also. Sometimes, profit jump by 20%, 25% without understanding the performance, right? That is why the standard costing we are doing. I'm telling you, the this was actually discovered, basically you can say that, this variance analysis in way back to 1900, where everything was fine, but then after great recession, people started blaming each other. And then that one of the financial controller company, they just found out the way that how we can fix up the responsibility, that rather than blaming each other, it's always better to fix up the responsibility. So to fix up the responsibility, that's why we say performance management. It's a sophisticated terminology we are using. Performance management, right? And one thing is very important, that I always tell, you know something which you can control, you are accountable and responsible. Something which you can controllable, right? Some, if you are not able to control, right, then obviously why you are making me responsible? And this is what exactly I also faced the situation, that when my supervisor tried to evaluate the performance based upon the profit, right, operating profit of my verticals, you know the technology department, HR department, they used to allocate the cost. Now technology department, if they allocated a cost, not the budgeted rate but standard rate, but actuals they debited, and because of the actuals they debited, my performance dips. And that is something which I never control. Technology, I never control. HR, there's a, it's like a, obviously if I cannot control the department and they allocated the cost, if they allocated the cost, I'm not responsible for that. What exactly I control payroll costs of my department. I control, say, the cost which I can control, which I can approve. I'm definitely responsible for that. But cost which I cannot control, nor I'm actually involved in that decision making process, I'm not. That was a, that time we negotiated and all this thing anyway. But organization basically, at a time of preparing the budget, right, I always suggest that, if any department, service department, whether it is a HR department, whether it is a technology department, if they are allocating the cost to your department, they should discuss, right, and arrive at the standard rate. That, okay, uh, if suppose if I procure the services from the outside, what exactly rate I'm supposed to pay, what exactly amount I have to pay to the outsiders, and then negotiate, and then you decide that this is a standard rate. I don't have any problem debiting at the whatever the market, right? But your inefficiency here, the problem is that when they transfer, or whenever the cost center allocate the cost to the profit center. Profit center means what? I'm accountable for revenue and cost. Profit center. So profit center means I'm also responsible for revenue and responsible for cost. In our case, basically, the sales department, pricing department, they have say, right? What is the price? What is the say? Whether we should accept a contract? They cannot make me accountable for profit, because I become cost center. If I am not responsible for the sales, if I'm not responsible for that, you cannot say that sales minus cost is your performance. If I can have a say, for example, that this contract, I don't think so this is viable, this is not a good contract, then I can say that I'm accountable for that. So there is always, remember the logic actually. If something which you can control, you are accountable, and it's a common sense, right? So something which you cannot control, you are not supposed to be accountable, or the performance evaluation, for example, you are not responsible, but they say that you are responsible for this line item of expenses, but you don't have authority. How can I control then? If you are saying that I'm giving you no authority to decide, but you are accountable, you are responsible, obviously that is not a logic, right? This will demotivate the managers, right? So whenever, so again, why I'm emphasizing, because entire topic, what exactly we are trying to find out is to fixing up the responsibility and then evaluate the performance, right? We fix the responsibility. This is purchase department, this is production department, this is sales department, this is a this area, who is going to own. And when the actual result comes, that time we compare the actual versus your master budget. Master budget is a basically a starting point, right? This is the first time when you prepare a budget. We compare that, right, with the master budget, adjusting with the volume, that is flexible budget, right? We always try to calculate the prepare a flexible budget. Again, there is a problem. Master budget they prepare, and they think that this is a static budget. This is a budget which we compare with actual. Absolutely no. Your master budget should be, again, you have to prepare depending upon the volume. Maybe volume, someone is responsible for that. So we prepare a flexible budget that you can compare with the actuals. You get a variances, difference between the actuals and the budget, and these variance, we have to make them responsibility, that every line item of variances, for example, you have the cost variances is there. So this is applicable to not only the production department, it is applicable to everywhere, right? So these variances, you have to dispose the variance. Disposing the variance, it means that after we found out who is responsible for that, if the first question is that if you are unable to find out who is responsible, that means you fail. That means you don't have understanding of the variance analysis. So difference, you have to dispose it off. You have to call the person. These variances, whether it is controllable or uncontrollable. If it is controllable, definitely you are accountable. How you find out whether this is controllable? You can find out easily, because if you have authority to decide, you have say, for example, then you are accountable for that, right? If you don't have, uncontrollable variances are there, you know very well these are uncontrollable. How to make these controllable? How you can make these controllable is that give the authority to the people who can control. Basically, more you can have a controllable variances, you become a successful, right? Because if your uncontrollable variances, if it is high, for example, obviously I can just make the management responsible for uncontrollable variance. Even management also say that it's not possible for me, because this is something which is uncontrollable. So make uncontrollable variance more uncontrollable, so that in practical life, I'm telling you, this is something which is very important. And I'm telling you, that's why just now I was talking to one group of students, that if you want to clear the exam, right, I always say that write unique things. Unique means something which someone can learn from you. If I am checking your paper, if I can learn from you, obviously you get more marks. So that's something, that's a success mantra for clearing the exam, because your essay type of question, simulation type of question, where you have to demonstrate your knowledge. When you demonstrate your knowledge, what exactly they expect from you is to write some unique answers. Do the research. Don't try to just read the textbook and vomit. Absolutely, because whatever things you are writing, even the hundreds of students are writing the same answer, right? It is like, you think about yourself, that you are checking the paper and you are reading the same answer again and again. you know there's a tendency that you will definitely give lesser mark, right? And this type of question, definitely for CPA, let me tell you, it is a machine graded. your simulation type of questions sometimes. So for the obviously keyword is important, right? You have to write the keywords, very important. For the CMA also, writing the keywords is important, but CMA manually they check your essay type of question, so you have to write some unique answers. Even CPA also, obviously I'm not saying that it's 100% machine graded, but for BC they are machine graded basically. So you write the keywords, there's a success that when you write more and more keywords, obviously you get more marks. Fine then. So let us start with the variance analysis, performance management, and just listen. First of all, I'll tell you that if you understand the logic, that is the first 30 minutes, I think so you will get entire concept, what is variance analysis and how to evolve the formulas, right?